All right, Ronnie, two questions.
Yeah.
You look at Donovan Mitchell,
Yeah.
Ben Simmons, and
You're forgetting the third guy, Jayson Tatum.
Jayson Tatum. They all have an 87 rating.
Yeah.
Paul George
Yeah.
has an 88. Yes,
89.
88.
So he had an 89.
But why does but when those numbers are factored in, regardless of what it is,
Yeah.
to me, I look at Paul George as a on the level of a Damian Lillard and some of those other guys.
Yeah.
Why did those guys have 87, but Paul George is an 88 or 89?
See, we're not a reputation-based game. I mean, you won't find a closer person at PG than me. Like, him and I are extremely close. Those second-year guys, those ratings really spoke to what they did throughout the season, in the playoffs. I mean, Donovan turned into an absolute animal. Ben can do absolutely everything. Got to work on the jump shot a little bit. And then Tatum was a machine in the playoffs. I mean, so I think that's one of the biggest sticking points. Like, a lot of the older guys are like, why are these young kids coming up on our ratings? And it's a tough thing because they do deserve it. You could also make an argument that they should have to earn it a little bit more too. So I see it either way.
Sure. No, and I think you're right, because I think to the instance of reputation, somebody could be a 90, but then somebody else could be a 94, and they're comparing.
Yeah, it's all compare. That's the tricky thing. Everybody's always doing comparisons with all of these ratings, and naturally, I understand that. Naturally, I think we all understand that. However, there's a lot of tangibles and intangibles that go on our rating. There's 28 or whatever it is, attributes that make up the rating. And that's whatever that formula is. We don't have any way to buffer it up or down. We wouldn't want to do that anyway. So ultimately, there's no reputation rating, right? There's a lot of intangible ratings and tangible ratings, and they add up to a final rating, and it is what it is. But obviously, the players, I think that's the biggest deal. I think a lot of the older guys are really not understanding the young guys' ratings, and it's challenging for them.
Last question: when you look at the Lakers, you have Kyle Kuzma, Lonzo Ball, and Rajon Rondo.
Yep.
They all have a 78 rating.
No. So that build had old ratings. They hadn't been updated. We were just trying to get the gameplay right.
Okay.
I'll tell you right now, Kuzma's on a 78. I've confirmed that on Twitter a couple times. I also told him his rating he was at that event.
Okay.
So it's kind of funny that he still thinks he's a 78. I'm not really sure why. I don't remember off the top of my head where Lonzo and who's the other one? Rondo. I don't remember off the top of my head where they're at. But I mean, it's probably within a few points here or there. But yeah, that was just a thing at the build. We were just trying to get that build out.
How excited are you for NBA 2K19?
Oh my God, so excited! It's really incredible. We learned so much, from 2K18, the first instance of the neighborhood. And I mean, everybody knows that I play neighborhood games all the time. So I'm super psyched for that. But look, ultimately, it's gameplay. We talked about this past week. Gameplay was somewhere we really wanted to focus on because we felt like we could do a lot better than 18. And all the reviews from coming out of that Thursday event were super positive. And I mean, we still have 6-7 weeks left, and with that time, we're still grinding away and trying to make it even more perfect. So I think this is going to be our best one yet. I think there's so many leaps and bounds, and can't wait to talk about it more in the coming weeks.
Well, I guess that takes my last question. I was going to say specifically, what could you, I guess, anybody who was in plain sight, if they looked at 2K18 and 2K19, what is the most, I guess, seemingly noticeable difference?
I think to me, it's those two things. But look, our game's always had something for everyone. My team's made some dramatic changes. My GM, Miley, which we'll have a blog on next week, that's made a ton of changes. So it's really whatever you like in that game, we have really enhanced. And as we get out the info over the next couple weeks, you're going to see that. It's super impressive.